The adventure continues this week on Pole House Blackpot Weekend Getaways as we continue our Santa Fe Trail scavenger hunt. Last week's scavenger hunt started off with a smelly fort. And we adventured down this washed out road as we traveled from Kinsley, Kansas to Clayton, New Mexico. And we had chocolate chip biscuits. This week we leave one of the best campsites of this whole trip as we head toward the completion of the southern route of the Santa Fe Trail. We visit this landmark of the Santa Fe Trail and these ruins. And on the menu, a classic fare food. So stick around.
I think they're done, hon. All right, our first stop of the day after leaving camp is Rabbit Ears Mountain. I don't know if you can see it real good behind me, but I'll get a close-up of the camera, at least a picture. But this was one of the several national landmarks that the travelers used to kind of make sure that they were traveling in the right direction and close to on track. And you can see this, we saw this coming down. I think we were still in Oklahoma, probably 50 miles back, and you can see this. So there's no landmark here, as far as monument or thing like that, and it's on private property. So we just kind of stopped off at the side of the road and get a little view of it. So I'll get a little picture, and then we'll head on to the next spot. Get your stick. Playing with your stick? Are you glad to be stopped for a little bit?
You can have it, Joey.
Hi, Joey. Hi, buddy. You glad to be stopped too? Yeah. Well, we've stopped real quick for a quick lunch. Where's a Springer, New Mexico, I think?
I think that's right.
And then we're gonna cook up some, they're cooking under here. These are some pork meatloaf sandwiches that we've got.
We'll show you how to cook one of these.
One of these days. They were cooked ahead of time, and then you, like a meatloaf, but they're all pork and like a barbecue smoked stuff. And we're doing one of these days on a video. We made it a while back and froze them, and we brought them here so we'd have a quick stopover meal. Nice little park here, edge of town. Some ball stuff and spring, and down there's a little swimming pool. So, all right, we're gonna get some lunch and then keep heading. Next, where we at? Wagon Mound is next. So we'll see you there in a bit. Well, don't know if you can see it or not, but straight up ahead of us,
To the left.
a little bit, about 2 miles, is Wagon Mound. And it said it looked like a covered wagon, and then you can see to the right of it, you have a hump thing like a batch of
A team of livestock.
Yeah, a team of livestock. I'll get it right here. A team of livestock pulling it. This was one of the other important landmarks that they used. It's somewhere close here also. I don't know if it's still there or not. Was a spring, so it was a great place to stop and camp and spend the night before heading on to the next stop, Fort Union. Wagon Mound, the last great landmark on a Santa Fe trail. Can you see it? Right up there. We're standing out in front of the visitor center here at Fort Union. And this fort is the third fort that actually was built here. If you look off way over down there, there are the bluffs. And the first fort was built real close to the bluffs. And it started in about 1851, and they figured it was the Union forces felt that it was a need to provide shelter and a place for protection from elements and for native, for attacks from hostile Native Americans and things like that, and it became a supply depot also as for the local area and smaller outposts. And they figured out that they built it real fast. So by about 1861, they figured out they needed to build a new one. So they built another one, but it wasn't too much better. And they started it because of the Civil War, and they were worried that Confederate soldiers could attack it from the bluffs. So they moved it further away from the bluffs. And then by 1863, during the Civil War, they actually moved it to this current site, further away from the bluffs, and built it at a better adobe. They had local contractors to build it to where it would be longer standing. And soon after the war, by 1867, it became the largest fort basically in the Great Plains. And it had some neat supplied lots of supplies for the area and other smaller forts in the area. So we're gonna take a little tour. Let's go. These foundations were some of the original sod houses, so where the soldiers and their families lived. Of course, many soldiers and their families actually lived this. This is almost like a little city. It had its own school and entertainment, and they had lively dinners and dances and things like that. And like anything, of course, they had to have a jail. So it's withstood time probably the best because it was a lot more heavily fortified to keep people from escaping. Okay, so in front of us are the homes of the officers' quarters. So each one of these foundations, like right there, and then right here. Well, we made it back into the truck before it decided to rain.
It looks wicked out there.
Yeah, pretty good lightning and thunder. We didn't want to be out here just walking around on this prairie.
Well, there's no trees around here.
No. So
When you're the tallest thing on a field, that's not very smart.
that's right.
It's
So
a
we
good
got
way to
in,
be a lightning
but
rod.
this was a great history.
In here, into Fort Union, there are two places you cross the Sante Fe Trail. And I'll gonna plop up what our booklet looked like that they gave us here and show you where those two
But yeah, right
trails
south
are.
of here, not very far, around the current town of Watrous was basically just only a few miles, is basically where the two trails met. So
the northern or the mountain and the Cimarron routes.
yeah, north and south routes, someone would call it. But yeah, this is a the neat thing is it's free to the public.
Doggies are welcome as long as they stay on the path like people.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to
Go inside the ruins.
go
and things
inside
like
the
that.
ruins or anything like that.
And
So,
yeah, except for the visitor center, the dogs can't go in there. All right, we have made it all the way. See, we started to clear up here this vacation, right by Kansas City, all the way down, hit the Cimarron route, come down. We're almost at the end of the Cimarron route. We're right here, and just some neat, you can see out, if I get, sometimes it's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but you can see right through here some of the wagon ruts. And I'm pretty sure that they're heading up the hill toward Fort Union, and they head back down this way toward the current city of Watrous, which was where the Cimarron and the mountain routes met, and then they keep on heading southwest to Sante Fe. So we're heading on. Well, we have taken a few days break because we've been going bad out of you know what.
we were with our friends Craig and Kathy near Sante Fe, which we will show you Sante Fe in the next video.
Yeah.
But we've eaten our supper, something we've done before, a pizza. And now we're having dessert, and it's one of your favorites, isn't it?
Yeah, we're having homemade funnel cakes.
And they're not the big funnel cakes, they're individual.
Yeah, the big ones are actually an 8-inch usually, because they kind of almost fill a paper plate. If you've been to the fairs, you all would know that. But these 6-inch are just about perfect for one individual serving, so they work out really good. But yeah, we're just enjoying this time here. We're about
30 miles.
Yeah, it's about 30 miles, because you got to go kind of down and around and back up. But we're straight west of Sante Fe at Cochita.
Recreation area.
Cochita Recreation Area. It's a Corps of Engineers lake. Really beautiful out there. We're kind of up on the hill. So we're getting some wind coming going, so hopefully it won't blow us away too bad.
Now the difference in this, normally we cook with charcoal. Most of the New Mexico has a burn ban on. So for that, we are going to cook with our little stovetop.
Yeah, so it'll work.
Because we're deep fat frying, basically.
Yep, we're deep frying on a 6-inch Dutch oven. So we're going to start getting the mix.
We're going to regroup.
Stuff. Yep, and we'll be right
and
back.
get from there. Okay, now just like always, Wade, look at this. I put funnel cakes, 2 eggs, 1.5 cup of milk. So there's a premix.
Yep. Premix, I think, is just flour, salt, and baking powder.
I think that's it. Yes.
I think that's it. Pretty simple.
And yes, Shirley, my stepmother-in-law, this does taste like the funnel cakes you get at the state fair.
Only better.
Because they're done in a Dutch oven.
They're homemade. And I think they're better in a way because we use fairly fresh oil.
Yes, we do.
And I don't know how many they use. And we'll do a comparison, I think. We have to do a comparison.
Well, we're not going to compare. That was 2 eggs that I dumped a whole eggshell in there. Now, we break up your egg yolk. Okay, Wade, come in here. There are 2 eggs in there and our premix. To that, I'm going to add a whole can of vat milk.
Which is about a cup and a half.
A cup and a half, it's close enough.
Yeah, real close to a cup and a half that vat milk is.
And we don't want anything left over. The reason why we're using evaporated milk is because it's shelf stable.
And it's every bit as good as whole milk. And we have 2% for.
Oh, and the premix has a little bit of salt in it too.
Oh, of course it does. I forgot about that. Now, some of these recipes we've seen have sugar. But in my opinion, why would we add sugar when we're going to load the top of it with powdered sugar when they come out?
That's right.
So we don't add any extra sugar. Kind of like pancake mix. You add all that syrup. Why would you add sugar to the mix too?
Okay, wait. I need a little bit of water because that wasn't quite enough. See how thick it is?
Yeah. Just a little.
And
thick.
it's not quite done all the way around. Just a little bit of water just to loosen it up a little bit because that is condensed milk.
Yeah, and it needs to be, of course.
It needs to be like a thin pancake batter or crepe batter. What do you think?
Probably not quite as thin as crepe. Maybe a
little bit more?
Tiny bit more water.
He's the one that's the expert in this, not me. It's his recipe. He thought I needed to have my wet head on camera.
Well, you just got a shower because
it was coldest dang shower I've ever had. Never
I think there was any hot water at all, was it?
No,
all cold
there
water.
wasn't. And it's like it just came off the mountain.
We told Angie that's good for her hair. Nice cold water.
About come out with hair sickles. Now, what do you think?
Put your spoon in there again. I think that'll work good.
Okay, Wade's going to come back when the oil's ready. Dishes that I could for demoing. For one thing, all these dishes Leslie likes. Without us having to take a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, you see we have
a funnel.
Just a regular funnel. That's enough, Joey. And our funnel cake mix. And pour it out. Put my finger over top of the end of the funnel, of course. Now, I'm not for sure. I haven't made it for a little bit, but I think that's probably, what do you think, Angel?
That's probably good enough.
Probably enough for 1 6-inch funnel cake. I'm trying not to lose my spoon in. Now, it's very simple. You take your funnel, hold it over the oil, not too high because it'll splatter. Take your finger off, start moving it around. I go in circles, go all the way to the outside edge, then kind of go back and forth, zigzag. It's kind of like fun art. Just keep working your way around so you don't get any thick globs and get an icky spot that doesn't get done. Now just let her keep swirling around. You can go back and forth. That's what makes it pretty. A good funnel cake looks this way. Okay.
And what size Dutch oven is that, dear?
This is a 6-inch Dutch oven.
What do we usually use that Dutch oven for?
I don't know. What are we
dips.
Yeah, dips. And I gotta go right back because I forgot something to flip it with. Now, these can be a little tricky to flip, so I'm using some tongs. And you gotta kind of stick underneath. Angel can kind of get a close-up here. Get underneath there, it's kind of tough. And you gotta kind of look at the bottom. Not quite.
Nope, just
it's
turn.
A little bit more brown. They don't take too awful long. You gotta kind of, your oil should be about 350 degrees. And I didn't show you that, I forgot. If you don't have a thermometer like we don't, you take just a little bit of water and kind of sprinkle it in there. And if it kind of pops a little bit, but not splatter, you'll probably be close enough, about 350. It's maybe 2 minutes on the first side, maybe a minute on the other side. Now, stick this under. What do you think there now, Angel?
Oh, yeah, it'll be all right.
Stick that down in there. Let it cook another minute or so. Usually, as long as you move it around so you don't have any thick parts that are not going to get done, as soon as they're nice and lightly brown, they'll be done. And I think we'll pop up, while these are cooking, we're gonna pop up and do a comparison on what they normally cost at the amusement park or at the fair. What are they, Angel, like at least $5.5, $6
It
bucks
depends
now?
on where you're going. Amusement park, it could be as much as $8.
Yeah, for an 8-inch. And we're gonna do this recipe. I made it before when I used to make a lot of 8-inch. Would make at least 4 to 5. So we're gonna count it as 4, and we'll do a chart maybe in post production on how much it would cost if we buy them and how much it's gonna cost if we make them. So we'll do that for like if it's been 8-inch, even though we're doing 16-inch for this demo. Not quite, is it, Angel?
Nope. Get back in there. It takes time. You can't rush it.
Can't rush it too much. And you gotta have some good paper plates, because that's what you soak up the extra oil with, and that you serve it on with your powdered sugar. So.
And normally they put napkins in the plate, but we're not gonna
Sometimes.
do that.
Yeah, we use these good paper plates. Work great. Don't use foam plate. The hot oil will melt the foam, and we don't want that. So get a good old-fashioned paper plate. Check it again, she says.
Oh yeah, it's done.
It's done. Let it drip dry a little bit. And there you go. Look at that funnel cake.
Now let's go do it right. You
Okay.
do the next one.
All right, we're going to go over there. Angel's going to go over there and
Miss Kathy, can I get you to help me?
do that. I'm going to keep cooking. And she's going to put some...
Shine that right on.
Now you can do all that other fancy stuff on...
We got.
Some of them do what chili and all kind of what all, but we don't do that. We just do plain old, good old-fashioned powdered sugar. So, finger over the hole. Hold this up here. That's kind of hot. Put that
And that's how it looks.
in there.
Well, we got ours. Have ate mine. I couldn't wait.
The trouble is you only cook one at a time.
Yes.
So I get to say
I've tasted it. I know how good it tastes.
Somebody's coming. Tastes better than a state fair.
Yes, it does. So that about does it for this weekend getaway. We hope you liked this video and like our trail. Continue watching the Santa Fe Trail Vacation. We've got a lot more stops to make. And we thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. And please don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.